Do you intend to move back to America?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
I've been there, done that. I love my background. I love my life story. I love being an American. You know what I'm saying? I love being able to go back and forth. But to me, this was a transition. So I feel like I'll be going backwards. My family is still there. My boys are still there. It's my dream to get my sons over here. I probably will never go back ever if my kids were here, but my kids are still there. But I just feel like like I said, I'm here. I have a calling to do. So I wouldn't be able to accomplish that calling if I moved back to the U.S.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is Team Clevijo for you. Today we have an amazing sister and mother who is with us in our midst. She has a whole lot of things to share with us in Ghana and Africa as well. Guess what? We have Tani Ross in our midst, and she's not a celebrity today to celebrate. I think next month she'll be celebrating the birthday too as well. So we're going to talk of all those things on our channel today. So Tani, welcome to Ghana.
Thank you.
Welcome to Africa.
Thank you. Thank you, Madasi Pa.
Yeah. So, people have been watching our shows for a very long time. I have interviewed more than 400 diasporas on my channel. Maybe you will be the number 500 diaspora that I've interviewed so far.
All right.
Now, people have to know who you are. We really have to know why you came to Ghana, why you came to Africa.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. It's my honor. I'm pleasured to be here with you guys. Wow, where do I even start? My journey in Ghana has been amazing. Definitely book storytelling. But what really brought me to Africa is, it started when I was a young girl, so what's different about me is some people kind of just came here, liked it, or whatever their story is, but I have an uncle who pretty much breeded me and a lot of the kids in our family about Africa, learning about our African history. So when I got an opportunity to come, it was Ghana during the year of return, 2019, and it's been on and cracking ever since then, yeah. So I came here. So a little bit more about me. I'm pretty much from California, Los Angeles, California, San Fernando Valley, 818 all day. Yeah. Anyways, so no, I came here on a tour during the year of return, and my background is in technology, network engineering. I specialize in telecommunications, from old school telecom, data, wireless. So I thought I was coming here to teach Africa something. But I was mistaken.
You did have a change.
Oh, no, I got here, I'm looking at the towers, I'm looking like, oh, they do this, they know this, So I was like, what am I going to do? But I definitely always have known that I have a calling to be here.
Right.
So I'm at the point in my life where all of my experiences I can match, like, oh, this has definitely prepared me for my experience here in Ghana. So, yeah.
So from 2019
sure. Yeah,
to
2019.
2025 now.
Yeah.
So let me say 6 years.
Yes, back and forth, but the last 2 years I've been here.
Oh, so you have so many experiences to share.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how has been your experience in Ghana?
My experience has been wonderful. It's been great. I appreciate the good, the bad,
Yeah, and
the ugly, and the great.
Okay.
But it's been great. I think, a lot of people come here running from the U.S. and a lot of problems that we have in the U.S. And that's one thing that I feel like if that is your mentality, that is your focus, then you're going to go through a lot of lessons learned while you're here in Africa. Because what it's done for me is expose a lot of my weaknesses, a lot of my insecurities. You think an environment change, because you could say, oh, police brutality, racism, especially working in corporate America, you could point out all these things. But I appreciate my experiences. Like I said, in the U.S., it's breeded me for here. My career, I'm specialized in change. So I'm acquainted with coming into environments, different cultures, and implementing something different, something new. So, I've just I just recommend people to recognize exactly why they're here. Have a plan, come on a visit, have a plan. But if you're just strictly running from all the things that's known to happen in the U.S., then, it's because to me, I don't like really putting geographics on
Absolutely.
stuff because it's really about characteristics. Like
Right.
Martin Luther King said, judge people by their character. And there's nowhere you can go where you're not going to find a bad person, a liar, a thief. Everywhere you go, you're going to find these
country's
people.
really perfect in
Yeah. So I'm saying address, any issues you have leave it on the plane because you will find yourself, surrounded with the wrong people
Right.
if you don't check yourself, like I said, at the airport.
Right.
So,
There are so many countries in Africa.
yes.
Why did you choose Ghana?
Honestly, I didn't know very much about different countries because, to us, Africa is like Africa, right? So that just happened to be the flyer I received to come to Ghana.
Right.
But since I've been coming here, I've been able to visit Rwanda, South Africa. I just was recently in Kenya. So I chose Ghana because that just happens to be where my first invite came from.
So that was
Yeah.
the first African country you
Yeah.
stepped into.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
So, tell me, they portray Africa for you guys to be a village or a bush for you guys. Tell me the very first day you step foot on the African soil. What was the experience?
Well, my experience again, I came here, like I said, thinking that I'm so like, I'm a techie. So I'm a little different from most diasporas. I didn't have in my mind that I was going to see like a village and like animals, and one of the pressures we get from our families and friends is especially if they watch a Nigerian movie. Oh my gosh. People just think they know everything about Africa because they seen one Nigerian movie and they're like, beware this. So I wanted to prove people wrong, and come to Africa and really, I knew it was something different than those average perceptions. But I had my own perceptions as far as technology goes because, some of the smartest people, most intelligent people are here. So, yeah, so I had my own.
What makes you think that Africans are so smart and very intelligent in
Oh, wow. You know what? I think just the people that I've come across and the things that business-wise, I was just, surprised. Like, wow, I actually came and was learning from people here versus me thinking I'm just like this know-it-all and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna save Africa. So, on the technology standpoint, I was surprised. Guys, was pretty much up to date and the technology as far as quality of service. You kind of pick and choose like who gets what gets who. So it's on a higher level, but yeah.
Do you definitely think that what America or maybe the Western people have, Africans also have it?
Some things, yeah, as far as, just dealing with people, interactions with people, I think that's just going to be the same. But as far as some of the common things that we go through in the U.S., like you asked earlier, the relationship with the police, was like, mind-blowing. Just to see a group of Black young boys or Black people walking together down the street initially was like, wow, because that's like, if it's one too many of you in the U.S. walking down, you're going to get harassed or whatever. So just to see people that look like me all together going into restaurants, business places, everybody, has some melanin in them. It was a great experience.
Do you feel scared whenever you're walking along the road in Africa compared to America?
No, not at all. And my friends here in Ghana, they always say, "Oh, your phone," like little small things, and I'm like, really? That's all I got to worry about? So even today, I get reminded, lock your car, and I'm like, please, that's all I have to worry about, So I do need to be a little bit more careful because you never know what can happen. But as far as violence and feeling scared, I can walk down the street at 3 a.m. and feel okay,
So I want to ask you, people said Ghana is most peaceful country in the world. Being in Ghana for 6 years, how do you see?
I think it's very peaceful, but again, there's some one-off situations that my friends have experienced that, again, is just like a one-off situation. But for me personally, I think it's very peaceful. especially for like, if I can do it all over again and raise my kids here, send them to school here, I definitely would.
You know, you earlier on you made mention of something that I want to clarify about people's experience in Ghana. You said no country is perfect.
Right.
There are good, bad, ugly about every country.
Yeah.
But let's look at this very perspective. I would definitely say that diasporas, you know, I'm trying to generalize it. So, you know, I create diaspora contents, but I'm trying to generalize it. We Ghanaians, we sometimes say bad things about Africa, but the most and the worst ones are from the diasporas.
Yeah.
Your experience is different from somebody's experience,
Yeah.
right? So, what would you tell people that go out there and shoot videos about Africa, like bad things, say bad things on Instagram and so forth, to people to hear that Africa is just like a place that there are a whole lot of scammers and those kind of things?
I would say don't leave keep your street smarts. Don't come over here like, you know, you have to have a lot of street smarts in the United States, depending on where you grew up. But for the most part, you got to have a lot of street smarts and you got to use your instincts. So don't leave those behind just because you're here in Africa and you're thinking like, yeah, it's a lot peaceful from where I come from. But you know, you still got to be smart. You know, you still have to use your common sense, basically. And one thing I don't like that diasporas that some of us do is come over here on their high horse and their nose up in the air thinking that like we're better and, you know, like the U.S. is just like the promised land, because I get upset sometimes. I be wanting to just smack some tourists when like, why are you acting like that? And then come to find out they're from a town that nobody even has heard of in the U.S. and you're like over here in Africa acting like you're like all this or that. So just like you have to be open to a different culture and being open to change and recognizing what is a cultural difference versus a characteristic difference.
So when you were adopting to African culture, did you face any challenges? How did you also adopt the culture of Africa and Ghana as a whole?
Well, that's where my experience comes from, being a Black woman working in corporate America. I think there's still a lot of room for growth as far as women. You know, women having a voice, women having opportunities. So I feel like I've had to deal with a lot of men because it was kind of hard to find other women, not on my level, but maybe that kind of think the same way. A lot of women are kind of, which is not a bad thing, you know, very submissive to the male, you know, culture. So I think that was I had something I had to adapt to, but I'm used to adapting to change and just how you talk to people, for example.
Right.
You know, sometimes we want to come in and make all these changes and usually you get a trophy like, oh yeah, this person came in and did all that, but you have to be very careful, very considerate how you talk to people here, because it's real easy for Ghanaians to get insulted when you're not trying to insult them. You know what I'm saying? So that was that was a big change that I had to get used to. And you see how loud, like I'm naturally loud and excited, and I had to realize sometimes that's taken the wrong way.
Just
So,
like me calling my sound guy Befu.
yeah,
he's
you set me up to learn
he's
the bad
Befu.
words.
So how do you love Ghana culture?
I love Ghana culture. Like I said, even that what I said about women, I think some of the hardest, strongest women are here, you know. And I love the love. Like I said, my tire could get stuck in, you know, mud or something, and somebody's gonna walk by and just naturally offer to help me. You will be sitting there all day and night. U.S. people will just walk by like, oh, her tire is messed up, like, you know. So I really love the just natural help. And I think a taxi driver hit me, and the whole community held him down and made him stay like right there, made sure that he settled the situation. So I really appreciate the love from the people,
You
for
have a
sure.
team behind you.
Yeah, definitely. People are always looking, seeing what's going on. But no, for people to just step up and just like help you and not even know you, it's really cool. It's a really good feeling.
You know, one thing that I also want to ask, I preach bridging gap between diasporas and African as a whole. What are some of the things that an African, a diaspora can do to bridge gap between these two people? One, I think getting married to each other can also bridge gap. But how about you?
Well, so getting married, I think my couple of experiences.
Point of correction. It doesn't
Yes.
mean that you should focus on what I said.
Oh.
From your own perspective.
Well, relationships, period.
Or are you talking from experience?
Yeah, I only can talk.
so-
I only
so-
can
okay,
talk
go on,
from
go on.
experience.
Yeah, you have
Like
to
I
go
said,
on.
I've
Feel free to say
experienced a
anything.
lot.
Yeah, so
I've
go
told
ahead.
you I feel like I had a calling here, right? Like meaning I literally am on a mission from God to do whatever He needs me to do, and I have become distracted. One of my biggest distractions has been relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say leave some of your insecurities on the airplane, because you'll still walk into that same person. But as far as a relationship goes, I think that's where the biggest cultural difference lives. The biggest cultural difference lives as far as like communication and things like that. A lot of us, we want like so much attention, and sometimes no, but honestly,
That is true.
no, yeah. And so, I mean, I'm divorced. I have 3 children, and I've never experienced like domestic violence until I came here to Ghana. So, like, I had an experience where like I was in a relationship, and yeah, the guy started hitting on me, and it was crazy.
In Ghana.
Yeah, yeah.
So you-
oh yeah,
the guy is
Ghana.
Ghanaian.
You did marry a
Yes.
Ghanaian.
Well, marriage just means that what, like you
Yeah, so
slept
you were in a
together, or
relationship with a Ghanaian.
or you actually had a
Don't mind.
ceremony.
I know, man.
No, because that word wife is used loosely. And I noticed the word wife is used loosely here. So it doesn't necessarily mean like you had a ceremony. That just means like you're connected.
No, it doesn't mean that you should do ceremony.
I think it's very respectful though.
Sometimes you
'Cause-
can do it at the courts or anything.
yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
you don't hear like baby mama out here. Like, you'll hear like, that's
Yeah.
my wife, for
Yeah,
simple
that's my
fact
wife.
that you have
Yeah,
kids
that's
together, you've
true.
had a family. So I think that's a respectful way to refer to
Yeah.
like a woman that you've had dealing with. That's cool. But yeah, so yeah, I definitely,
I
experience that.
really don't want to talk about, this show is not about love show or relationship show, but there are some things we need to share it because it's an experience
Yeah.
that people have to share. Well, when my camera, I have to be honest with you, my camera guy, my sound guy, Sammy, when he saw you, the first question he asked me was, "Are you married?"
oh,
And I gave a cheeky answer to him that is a client sitting there. Go and ask yourself. I think my guy is in love with you.
oh, wow. I may be in love with him too.
Right.
Ooh,
So
no,
what we're gonna
thank
do
you.
is that maybe I know you've tasted or tried a Ghanaian man which didn't work for you. But I wouldn't recommend him to you. At least you guys can.
Oh wow! No. I'm focused. I'm focused on what I came to do. I just was saying that was my biggest distraction, man. Yeah.
So you don't want to go into that.
I'm good. I haven't closed the door on it. I
Yeah.
just really want to be, respected as
Enjoy
a
your life.
businesswoman.
Okay, so Ghanaian
yeah.
guys, Tani has opened the door for everybody. So your application
Don't mind him.
should come. She has opened the door for
Oh,
everybody.
my
So
goodness.
please bring your applications. You can even send it to me via email, and I'll
Well,
forward
can
it.
we talk about a big misperception that I feel African men have with American
Well,
women?
Okay,
go
that
on,
we
go on.
all have all this money that just grows off of trees. So if I'm sitting at a restaurant with someone from Ghana, the waitress will just come hand me the check. And I'm like, why you hand me the check?
Yeah.
And like she handed it to me like, oh, I know she's
That's
paying for
true,
this. And
that's
I'm
true.
like,
Well-
wait a minute.
Well, it's a perception. I would say it's a perception because not everybody is like that.
Some of them.
Yeah.
It is a perception.
Yes.
And it's something that some of us are trying to use our YouTube to change. You know, when they change
Yeah.
the mindsets, all those perceptions will be changing.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So it is something that people that are watching us to also bear it in mind that we want to change for the better. Because people have been saying bad things about Ghana, people have been saying bad things about Africa, that we have to raise a concern to change all those perceptions.
Yeah.
You know, you had, like I said, I don't want to talk about relationship, but we still have to know. African men or maybe Ghanaian men are naturally people that don't like talking too much in a relationship.
Yeah.
You being in the diaspora, you were trained to communicate,
Right.
to
Right.
talk in a relationship.
Yes.
So, don't you think, you said of communication, don't you think, because you had a silence or maybe somebody who is not a talkative in a relationship, and you are a talkative in a relationship, that made you, you know, fell
Yeah.
apart with him or what?
Well, so my experience hasn't been all bad, right? I had like 1.5, I had a 1.5 relationships here. So one, it just counts for a half.
And
But I did have a really nice relationship with
Yeah.
the Ghanaian man, and I think the communication was our downfall.
And you know, Ghanaian
Like
men
just
too are also
understanding. Yeah, yeah,
Very,
that
very sweet.
charm,
Yes,
boy.
so sweet.
Woo, my heaven, that charm will get you. Watch out, ladies. That
You
charm will
just
get
mean
you.
by heart doing
Yeah,
something.
yeah, we like that. We like that a lot.
You like it?
Yeah.
You like Ghanaian man?
Yeah, oh yeah, the Ghanaian man
you know what? We have to
inspired.
bridge the gap. Ghanaian men, you need to marry all the American ladies and so forth. Marry them. And the American ladies, marry the Ghanaian men. You know, but just make sure you get a trusted person. Make sure you have somebody that you can rely on. You know, people can lie sometimes. People can, you know, be
Yeah.
trying to date two ladies at a time. So you just have to be very careful when you are dealing with them. You know, let's talk about possibilities in Africa.
Sure, absolutely.
There are so many things that people normally come from the diaspora and they thrive in Africa. There are a whole lot of opportunities.
Yes,
You
definitely.
being in Ghana now,
Yes.
what are some of the opportunities that you've seen and how are you pursuing them?
Yeah, well, one of the beautiful things about Ghana is it's developing really fast, but there's still a lot of room for development. So the diasporas and people abroad have an opportunity to come and develop things here that it would be really far-fetched to do back home or wherever you're from. So I think that's a big, huge plus. And it still just comes down to being around the right people and having the right connections and having a plan what exactly you want to do. But I think the sky is not just the limit here in Ghana, it's just the start. So you'll be amazed at some of the things you can come over here and do in business, philanthropy, you know, like just depending on like what you're into. But investing, you know, of course, like everyone, when I first started coming here, people were like, buy land, buy land, buy land. That's what you hear real fast, buy land, buy land. And it's good to buy land, but you want to buy land and have an idea what you want to do with the land.
Maybe they are telling you to buy land because they know the real estate industry is thriving in Ghana.
Yeah.
So somebody might advise you to go into real estate. Well,
Right.
I still want to ask you one complicated question. You
Before you ask, let me ask him a question. So how do Ghanaians treat you? How do the Ghanaians treat the diaspora?
Just in business or
No,
just generally?
in general.
I think it's all good, very nice, very respectful, but again, that perception that you have all this money is there. So sometimes I have to like play broke, like I don't have no money, my kids are sending me money, I don't have nothing. Like just to get people, just to see who's gonna stick around and who's still gonna come around if they feel like, oh, she's on her hard, at hard times, or she's not at hard times. But once that perception, that's how you really get to know someone, are they still gonna be the same towards you if they don't feel like you have like all this money? So that has a lot to do with the treatment, I think. Just like anywhere else, if you go anywhere in the world and they think you have money, they're going to treat you a certain way. But then there's some genuineness to it as well. There's some definitely genuineness, welcoming, us here to, develop things and just in bed with the culture.
Well, but what is it that you don't like about Ghanaians and you wish they would change from that?
What I don't like. I think when things go wrong, like for example, like I've rented an office for an entire. I rented an office, a business office, for a whole year. Never stepped foot in it. Because I was told, like, and I don't like, everyone talks about the price gouging. But to me, if you're a tourist town, anywhere you go, Vegas, LA, whatever, they know tourists is in town, the price is going to go up. So that's one thing. But it's a lot of times where the price change as soon as they see that you're an
But
American
you know what
or
you are saying?
abroad.
You know what you are saying now is everywhere. When you go to America, even the Uber that you take from the airport to whatever
Yeah,
destination that you are, the
yeah.
prices are all increased.
Yes,
So,
but it's just done in a different way. Sometimes you feel like you don't have a voice to express sometimes when those things happen. So like, okay, this is gonna cost XYZ, and then right before you're getting ready to pay, all of a sudden it's XYZ times 3, and you're like, wait, and you don't really have an entity to go to. So, and abroad in the US, there's compliances, there's organizations, there's things you could do to fight against that. So you either just take it or leave it kind of here.
well, I will still clarify that because let me put it this way. I know people might not be happy about what I'll say, but I am a typical Ghanaian and I know the system over here in Ghana and I know things work over here in Ghana. So maybe there are some things that you were supposed to ask, but you didn't meet the right people to tell you because
Yeah.
in Ghana there are laws. Laws works in Ghana. Maybe if the law doesn't go on your side, you might think there's no law. But if you are being grabbed by the law, you know there is laws in Ghana that works. So I think there are people that you can report other people to
Yeah.
so that they can be cautioned.
Yeah, that's true, but it's very time consuming, cost consuming, and sometimes you just get tired. But again, like you said, if you're around the right people, you have that communication, there's still that chance that things may change. And, but either way it goes, I still, will never like go back. I love it here. That the feeling is great. But I feel with me being a foreigner, the first thing you hear is, oh, here in Ghana. So I was made to feel like because I'm a foreigner, I just don't understand the Ghana way. And I'm like, but if I was Ghanaian and we're having the same situation, we'll actually sit down and talk about it. But because I'm a foreigner, it's like, oh yeah, that's just how we do it in Ghana. That's just how it is.
Well, seriously, I have to say this. I don't see you to be a foreigner. And I don't want you to label yourself as a foreigner in Ghana. You have the same melanin with me,
Yeah.
the same skin color. It was maybe distance or situation that separated you and I. So I don't see you to be a foreigner. I see you to be a sister. I
Yes.
see you to be an auntie. I see you to be a mother.
Yes.
So I have to clarify that. I don't see you to be a foreigner.
Thank you.
But
I appreciate that.
I still want to ask about business-wise
Yes.
and also diasporas living in Ghana as well.
Yes.
Don't you think whatever thing that you have to do as a diaspora in Ghana, you need a Ghanaian to guide you?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, definitely. And you also need your diaspora networks too. But you definitely need someone here on the ground, locally that you can trust to show you the ropes, to maybe speak for you, maybe do some negotiations for you. That's very important. Absolutely, definitely.
Yes. This same goes to a question that I'm asking about doing business with a Ghanaian. But there are some diasporas that also goes around painting Ghanaians to be bad people. Don't do business with them. They will cheat you. They will do this. They will do that. In your own point of view, how would you manage to deal with that?
Well, I don't think you should go to someone's country and try not to work with them. I think that's wrong from the gate. So you definitely like, how can I come to Ghana and say don't work with somebody in Ghana? Like, why are you here? Go back where you're from type of thing, But how I deal with that, again, it's because I've been here for a while. I've established a family here. I've established friends. And so I've experienced a lot of things. I have my own relationships, my own go-to people that I can call and talk to and say, hey, how does this work? Or, but doing business here, I think it's just like doing business anywhere else. But working with a Ghanaian, I think is very important because some diasporas are over here doing dirt too and not being very honest as well, and ripping people off and taking people's money, and they're taking advantage of, oh, because I'm a diaspora, you're a diaspora. So like I said, it's bad people, bad characters, and everyone. I don't really like to put it on the geographic or the country. It's just you're the good person or you're a bad person.
So talking about the business, have you been scammed before in Ghana?
Yeah, I have, but I also been shown a lot of love too. So like I said, I had an office that in the Bacano area.
Bacano.
Yeah, and my team that are full of all Ghanaian, they went and found the place and made the negotiations. I signed a contract, and when I got to Ghana, I never stepped foot in the building, and I paid for the whole year because there was like no bathroom, and then I was supposed to, it was all this work that she wanted me to do that I didn't know about. So the work that needed to be done was like 4 times the amount of the rent. So it just sat there. So I feel like that was somewhat of a scam, but I've also can tell you a bunch of stories where I'm from where I've been scammed too. So, that was just unfortunate. But yeah, land too. I've had times where I was just really, really close to buying the land, and I even had this one gentleman like, oh, the land is in my name. He even put himself on TV. The land is in my name. All you got to do is move it from my name to your name. We do the land search. The land is not in his name. I don't know if that was so much of a scam. No, did not. So I work with an attorney. So as far as business goes, I run everything through my attorney. So yeah, so it didn't go through, but I don't think that was an intentional scam. I really don't think that he knew that it hadn't been put in his name. I don't know, but yeah.
With the good and the bad that you've experienced in Ghana, if you are supposed to rate Ghana in a percentages, how would you rate Ghana on a positive side with the percentages and also the negative side with the percentages?
I would say 80% positive and 20% negative, but that 20% negative could impact you, really hard. You know what I'm saying? But I feel 80% positive for sure, just because of the love, the people. You know what I'm saying? The opportunities. So.
Do you intend to move back to America?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
I've been there, done that. I love my background. I love my life story. I love being an American. You know what I'm saying? I love being able to go back and forth. But to me, this was a transition. So I feel like I'll be going backwards. My family is still there. My boys are still there. It's my dream to get my sons over here. I probably will never go back ever if my kids were here, but my kids are still there. But I just feel like like I said, I'm here. I have a calling to do. So I wouldn't be able to accomplish that calling if I moved back to the U.S.
The calling, is it a spiritual calling?
No, business.
I think it's spiritual as far as through the businesses that I'm trying to establish. It will help a lot of people, impact a lot of people, the diasporas and local Ghanaians. So I'm just honored to be in that role.
So fine. Tell me about this calling.
Yeah, so, I've experienced a lot in the U.S. where, like I said, I can contribute to prepare me for being here. And that's made me stronger. And, yeah, it's just things that has happened. A calling is not something I think you can really explain.
Absolutely.
It's just kind of like, it's a feeling.
Maybe you have visions to that.
Yeah, just, as soon as I think things are, maybe not going the way I think they should go, or I don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow, all of a sudden, bam, something, it works out, it ends up working out. So I've learned to be patient. That's one of the things I really learned here from being in Ghana
Right.
is patience. Because I'm like, I'm used to everything like this. So I've learned the skill of being patient and just allowing things to work out the way
You
they need to
know,
work out.
one thing I like telling people that have been following me for a very long time, maybe if you've been watching my videos, first thing I tell diaspora is that whenever you are coming to Africa, the first thing you have to pack into your bag is your patience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Ghana is not like America. Ghana is not like Europe.
Right.
Ghana is not, it's not like, the western part of the world.
Right.
We have our own system, we have
Right.
our own culture to deal with.
Right.
So whenever you are coming to Ghana, you need to pack your patience first.
Oh,
That is what
yeah.
I normally tell people.
Yeah.
But do you regret coming to Africa?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I don't regret coming to Africa. I regret some of the decisions I have made, and I hold myself accountable, but I definitely don't regret coming to Africa. No way.
Well, at least you've made decisions. We are trying to create videos for people that are also willing to come to Africa to learn
Yes.
from whatever experience that you have also experienced in Ghana or Africa as a whole. What are some of the bad decisions that you did regret and you don't want to do, or you don't want to do it, or you don't want people to also repeat that same decisions?
I would say just coming here with an open mind, coming here respecting that you're coming into a new culture, and just because something is different doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just different, and you just need to learn the differences and respect it, and then that's how you can cultivate yourself and embed yourself into a new culture. Is respect is number one. So don't come over here thinking that where you come from everything was done the right way. There's a quote that I like by Robert Frost, and he says something to the nature where you never remove a fence if you don't know why it was put up. So we can't come over here trying to remove fences. We have no idea, haven't even been here long enough to understand why things are done that way. So I came here trying to pay my staff like the U.S. every 2 weeks, and like and I learned the hard way, like, okay, now I know why the South, that you get paid on a monthly basis. Now I know why things are done the way that, because I was like, oh, that's not fair, you gotta wait 30 days or you gotta wait longer than that. I'm gonna do this way. But then they became very complacent, real laid back, cool, like, oh, we got it made, like, So that's just one small example that, I had to, learn that I can't bring some of my, some ways and just think like, oh, how they're doing it is wrong. I'm going to do it this way, because it'll bite you. It'll bite you in the rear end for sure.
You lived in Ghana for 6 good years.
So 2 years.
Well,
But I've been visiting back and forth like
really,
2-3
I really don't care
months.
about 2 years. I only know you came to Ghana 2019.
Yes.
So that's 6 years now.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Have you per chance willing to apply for citizenship in Ghana?
I missed the last boat, but I definitely
the
will.
524?
Yeah, I missed
You
that.
missed it?
I wasn't here. I was back in the States visiting. But right now, I have some things going on that I probably wouldn't get the citizenship right now, because a lot of people are getting it, and I'm the type that sit back and kind of watch and see. There's celebrities and people that's coming up here getting their citizenship like right away, and I just think maybe something's not right with that. And I have some ties, and then there's issues at the airport once you get your citizenship, like sometimes they take your US passport away. So right now I'm just observing, but I'm good with the resident card. That gives me 2 to 4 years without having to keep renewing my visa. So I'm good with that for right now. But eventually, when I know for sure that I can eliminate my travels back to the U.S., I probably will pursue citizenship.
But since you like everything about Ghana, you like everything about Africa, you can't be using American passport?
Yes, I can. I'm from the U.S. I can't change where I'm from.
No.
You can't change your identity.
No, I can't change my identity.
I still don't believe that you are from US. This is what I want you to clear from your mind. No, you are not an American. You are a typical African.
Yeah.
It was, I don't want to use the word slavery, I don't want to use it, but it was because of slavery. That is why you find yourself in America. So I don't see you to be an American. I see you to be an African.
I believe I am African. My mother's father was born in Africa, Togo. So, I mean, my grandfather is African. I never met him. She's never met him. But once she did her research, we discovered that my grandfather is actually from Africa.
The DNA, 100% DNA, and you are from Togo.
I did do the DNA, and after...
Was it a partial or a full? You did a partial DNA or a full DNA?
I did a full, the swab, I don't know if it's partial or not, but most of my DNA pointed back to Togo, Benin.
Right, because I know when you do the full DNA, it will specifically tell you the tribe that you are from.
Oh yeah,
the
no.
country that you are from.
Yeah, so there's a Ancestry. There's 2 DNA groups. One that's by the sister, the black doctor.
Right.
That's who I would like to get mine done from, because I think she gets down to the nitty gritty. But I did the general one. I was finding all kinds of family members was reaching me like, I'm related to you. And I found all kinds of stuff about myself. But what was interesting about that, when I got tied back to Togo, it was before my mother even found out about her father. So it kind of like matched up. And I have a blood type that I'm immune to malaria. So 10 years before I even came here, my doctor told me if I ever came to Africa that I didn't need to get the malaria vaccine, that I was immune. And I get tore up. So that's my one bad thing about Ghana and Africa is the mosquitoes tear me up.
Well, the mosquitoes, they tear you up because they know your blood is sweet.
Yeah, I was going to say I have sweet blood.
Right. They know they wanted to give you welcome.
That's welcome for you.
Yeah, well, don't bring the off from the U.S. because you insult the mosquitoes.
Well, one thing that I want to tell you is that Ghanaian mosquitoes don't respect anybody.
No, they don't.
They don't know who you are. When they are ready to attack, they will attack.
Yeah. But knock on wood, I've not been sick. The only illness I've had was an allergic reaction to bites. And it's not just mosquitoes, bugs, period, like insects, period, like my blood. So I have to kind of be careful at night, going out or showing too much, exposing too much skin. But yeah, but I haven't gotten malaria. And the one few times I've gotten sick, I've gone to the pharmacy and I've never tested for malaria. So the doctor was actually right.
Talking about your African history, you are sitting in between 2 Voltarians. I don't want to be tribalistic over here. I am a Voltarian, I'm Ewe, and George is also an Ewe. We know our roots.
Okay.
There's one thing that I want people to know in this world, and it is real that Ewe child doesn't get missing or get lost. Because you know why? We have a unique name. We have a unique surname. So in case me getting you pregnant, or maybe you have a child for me, or you have a child for George, the name that will be on the child can trace to know where the family is.
Yeah,
right.
That's a beautiful thing.
And it's same to people from Togo and Benin.
Yeah.
So now, from the DNA that you said, you are actually from either Togo or Benin. Have you per chance? You know what? Have you per chance trace your roots to know the kind of house and the family that you are from?
No, but I what's interesting about all this is that I had my naming ceremony in Volta region, and I'm a Apanga. Ooh. So yes, I'm a Apanga.
You can find out because
my papi is my elders is in Volta region.
So generally,
for instance, me, my family. When you mention Amadabe, you go to Nogopo, the family is there. Even if you went to Ho or Achiavi or whatever, they will send you to Nogopo because Nogopo are Amadebe family.
Yeah.
So your name, if you trace,
Oh yeah,
you
my
can find
elders
out.
are there, and then the part of Togo that I was traced to used to be Volta region back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, it used to be. So that all these things started like just falling into place like a missing pieces of the puzzle. So for me, I was traced everything traces back to
Right.
Volta region / Togo. I actually got to drive a little bit across the borderline, and we hurried up and came back before immigration came
You
and
know,
got us.
sometimes I normally fight with George because Nogopo is the most scariest town or area in Ghana. When you go to Nogopo, when you put money on the floor, nobody will pick it. The money will be there. Even if it is 1 year, the money will still be there.
People are scared to
Yes, because
be
they
accused of stealing.
They believe the ghosts will attack you
Yeah.
when you steal the money or maybe you take the money.
Yeah.
So when you go there, it's obvious for you to even see a police station over there. There's no crime. People don't
Yeah.
fuck off over there.
Yeah.
You know, they don't
Very
do
spiritual.
stupid stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
it's all maybe you can read about it. It's
Yeah,
all over
no,
the world.
I believe you.
Yes.
I believe you. My homeboy back in the States lost his son, unfortunately, and I went to Volta region. They did a ceremony for him, and the next day, sister came back, and she actually was able to connect with them, and was able to send a message to my friend. And to this day, he's like, that was the best thing that could have ever happened, because she said some things that only his son, talks, and it was so real. So like, yeah, people out of Airways is no joke.
Right.
I already know.
I know you love it in Africa. You love it in Ghana.
Yes.
We are trying to bridge gaps. We are trying to connect diasporas to African as a whole. You have friends in America. You have friends in the western part of the world. You are in Africa now, Ghana precised. You like the experience 80%. You like it negatively 20%. So now, the positive covers the negative
Yes.
more, right?
Yes.
So why don't you advise other fellow friends, your family members, to also move to Africa? Because we are trying to bridge gaps. We are trying to build the continent as we wanted.
Because there's too many Nigerian movies out there. They think they know everything. No, I do that though, and that's why I share a lot what I have going on, and the businesses that I've got into has been about building a trusted entity to set an example. So instead of talking, I like people to just kind of see. So my friends and family, I was given a hard time when I first started coming. It took my family a long time to get adapted with me being here, because they felt like if something happened, we couldn't do anything. But they look at me and they say, oh, they got clubs out there. I'm like, yeah, what you think is going on? Like, so I let them see, I share that message through example, so they could see how I'm living. I'm always posting what I'm doing, what's going on, and so their minds could be more open. But I don't think it's as bad as it was 10, 15 years ago. You don't have to really pull people's teeth, especially to come to Ghana, because you have celebrities pushing it out. You have movies now that's being filmed in Ghana. You have a lot of people talking about coming to Ghana. So the next step is, what are you going to come to Ghana and do? You know what I'm saying? What is your purpose? What are you going to come to Ghana and do? And I think that's what the focus is. So
Tell me about this Nigerian movie thing.
everyone watches these Nigerian movies and think that they know everything there is to know about Africa. I'm sitting here in Africa, and I can call someone in my family and they'll be telling me how it is here. And they've never been here. Like, I watched this movie, I watched this movie and they was doing this and they was doing that. And I'm like, oh my God. So, no, I say it's your experience. I always tell people it's your experience. My 80%, and 20%, it may not be the same for the next one. So the easiest solution to that is to come and visit and experience it yourself.
So was this Nigerian movie was it about a negative thing that you guys saw, or it was about positive thing that you saw?
Well, have you seen them?
I don't know.
Yeah. Have you seen Nigerian
You
movies?
know, I only know of Nigerians whenever they are shooting their movies, they protect their culture. They do things per their culture. They don't want to add any foreign thing to whatever movie that they are doing. So if it is epic movie that they are shooting, they want to portray their culture to the world. There are some stuffs that they have to wear it.
Yeah.
You might think they are naked, but
Yeah.
that is our culture. And it's all over Africa. Everybody has its own culture. Ghanaians have their own culture. Nigerians have their own culture.
Yeah.
The Benin, the Togo, the Burkina
Right.
Faso, everybody has their own culture. So in a way, for them to also portray their culture, they have to shoot movies per what they know of their culture.
Right.
So I don't think if your sister or your mother or your friends are watching me, I don't think there is a need for them to think that if the Nigerians are portraying their culture, it's like Africa is like a bush. No.
Well, that's the problem. Even before I came here, Africa was just Africa.
Well.
It wasn't Nigeria is this, Ghana is this. There's different tribes. There's different things that happen, and so they're not seeing it that way. They're seeing like this is how it is everywhere. And then spirituality also in the Western world is not well understood. Is looked as like voodoo or some like demonic stuff. So it's just a lot of education.
You know, do you support the bridging of the gap and also the repatriation?
Repatriation?
Yeah.
Meaning?
Yeah, like you know, coming to Africa, you know, from the Western side, coming to Africa to live, you know, kind of explore and also establish yourself in Africa.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So if you have somebody in your family like that, and you are in Ghana, and nothing of that, you've seen nothing of that in Ghana, what are the things that you are doing to change those mindsets?
Yeah, well, for one, it took a while for me to study and just try to figure out what is going to be my niche here. What can I do, And so one of the things that I do is I set up platforms where people can come and do searches and learn about valid investment opportunities. I promote coming on tours, right? So I work with a lot of tour operators and agents. I'm not a tour operator or agent, but like I have a bunch of skaters coming here during the Cape Coast Festival this year. A bunch of skaters here. They want to build a skate ring. So my message is that you can do what you love to do in the motherland too, because a lot of us have our niche in the U.S., that's our survival, whether it be athletes, playing sports, or being a part of a dance group, or skating, or something like that. And that is our life. Like, if we couldn't do those things, or playing an instrument, so if you don't imagine or understand that you could do that here in Africa, it doesn't matter if you say you can come here and get free land, everything is free, food free, everything is free. If they don't see themselves being able to do what they love to do, then they're not even going to be open to coming here. So that's one of my main messages that I push out, that you can do what you love to do in the motherland too.
Oh, George, you have something to ask?
I want to ask you, your skate business, you said
Yes.
it's been 2 months. I shoot the video 2 months ago.
Yes.
What happened?
I moved in our website. So our website is being revamped, and our website is being revamped. So part of the video that you're shooting for us, for the skaters, bringing awareness to the skaters, the needs to grow the skate community, is a part of that website. So that's what happened over the last 2 months. But it's going to launch. But we have people registering. We have some big influencers that's going to be joining forces, and that's why I just came from Kenya. They have the first skate ring in the entire continent. So it was amazing going over there, talking to them, seeing how they did it. And now they're interested in coming to Ghana and doing the same thing here.
Because September is just around the corner.
Yes,
so you
it
have
is.
to speed up and do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. We're on it. We're on it, definitely. Yeah. And hopefully, the goal out of that is to build a home for skaters. I know there's some recreational skate rinks. I think one that's been made in Accra here somewhere. But we're trying to build something for the community, especially in the central region area, trying to promote Cape Coast, keeping people there longer outside of the tourist attractions. So amusement is another thing. I have an organization, ogod.org. And God is GHAD for Ghana Amusement Development. So we raise money to give diasporas and people abroad scholarships and grants for coming here and developing amusement. Like, what if you had a Disneyland here, a zip line, things like that. Real estate is already booming. But after a while, if you don't have a calling, if you don't have a plan, you will feel like, okay, what am I doing next? Like,
Right.
what am I to do? So those things bring in the money to bring people like amusement, recreation, things like that. So that's what I'm doing.
Unlike my non-profits, I have a non-profit that I do boreholes for people
Nice.
at the villages. There are some villages that sometimes they don't even have drinking water
Yeah.
to drink. So I have to, do a borehole for them. But with the help of my viewers, with the help of
Yeah.
my audience, those are the people that has been helping me. But it's still open. If you are anywhere willing to help us,
Yeah.
with our non-profits, we are good to go. You can still help us. But
Yeah.
my last two questions that I want to ask you, I'm just going to put you on your toes.
Okay.
And I know with these questions, you would like to cry whenever you are hearing this question.
Uh-oh.
My first question, 6 years in Ghana, what is your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food is cabbage stew and rice, and also groundnut soup and rice balls. That's
Okay.
my number one favorite. It's
So
the
you-
groundnut soup and rice
right.
balls.
So let me put it this way. I'll write off the cabbage stew because Ghana, we don't deal with
Cabbage.
Oh,
even though
it's a local lady in the
it is a
hood.
local
She-
food, but
yes.
I
So
probably
good.
want a local food just like
Yes.
the groundnuts and the rice
Yes,
ball, right?
yes.
Now, tell me how to prepare rice ball.
Oh,
and also the
wow.
groundnut
No,
soup
no, no,
from
no,
scratch.
no, 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 no. I can't do that. I cannot. I didn't cook well back home, and I definitely cannot cook Ghana food here. I just
So-
eat it.
Do you admit? Do you admit that you have failed in cooking Ghana food?
I haven't even tried because, no. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into making the fufu, making the just everything. But I can tell you some foods I like, though.
Well,
Yeah, like
so-
gobe. I'm a hood girl.
Yeah.
I'm a hood girl.
yes,
I like gobe. I have wache.
Mm-hmm.
I've been had wache the last 2 days. I like kinky. Fufu was cool for me, but I can't eat too much of it. But and then there's only certain people's. The other one, not fufu. What's the other popular one?
kokunte.
No.
Etzo.
No,
Banku.
banku. I can't eat everyone's banku. I've ate some banku. I'm like, oh, this is good, but then some I'm like, I'm not feeling it, or
But
whatever.
you
but
claim you are Ewe, so you're supposed to eat akple, not banku.
well, make me some. Does that mean you're gonna make me some?
Then we have to.
You
set
hear
up
it?
a
He's
new
gonna
sh-
make me
Yeah, we have
some.
to set up a new show.
Yes.
It's going to be a cooking competition.
Yes.
I'm gonna cook banku for you.
Okay.
Then maybe you cook rice michichi.
Oh wow! I'm trying to tell you that's not my thing. Cooking is just not my thing
Well.
at all.
My final question.
I don't have patience for the cooking.
My final question.
Yes,
Give me
sir.
blow. Say he.
Hey, what happened to the heart thing? You missed that.
Give me blue.
What's up? Are you sure you're from LA? You sure you're from
So
Ghana?
we are coming to close. Let's speak
Yes.
our local diary. Locally tree.
Okay.
Exercise.
Well,
Boko.
no,
Boko.
no,
Boko.
no. Close the interview in Fanti.
Watch it. This is your camera.
Oh.
Watch it. and close the interview in tree.
Okay. Wolframe Tammy Akwaba to Ghana. Madasi pa. Pa pa pa.
Well, thank you very much for watching our show. We hope to bring you more of this. We are so happy to have Tani on our show. And she's one of the amazing people that are doing so many things in Ghana and a whole lot in the world too, as well in Africa too. She's doing a lot for people. So guys, do you have any social media handle in case somebody wants to support you?
Yeah,
so
sure.
go
Absolutely.
ahead.
I'm launching a podcast called Yo Mama Podcast. So all my projects kind of are tunneled through there. So you can check me out on yomamapodcast.com.
Well, she said it all. Now you can see the 3 Ewe ladies and the 3 Ewe guys are all here. You know, I'm trying to generalize it. Yeah, you are a lady and we are guys. So,
Yes.
Yeah, so as you are watching, keep subscribing to our channel, Clevy Joe, Team Clevy Joe, and Team Ross. We're going to connect you and bring so many things together for you
Yes.
to watch.
Yes, thank
Ashe.
you.